Are you about to study Embracing Joy, an 8-week transformational Bible study of Habakkuk? I'm Jean Wyland, but it's all about him. Welcome to a fun place to get serious about Bible study and to learn more about the Bible study Embracing Joy. If you are about to begin studying Embracing Joy, I want to thank you. Thank you for entrusting me to lead you through the book of Habakkuk. The truths God revealed to his prophet have the power to do the same work in our hearts as they did in Habakkuk's. Babylon may not be knocking down our front door, but when we learn and believe these truths that Habakkuk learned, we'll be ready to face whatever tomorrow brings, to face it with abiding joy, to take joy in the Lord and rejoice in the God of our salvation, like Habakkuk. Whether you're going through embracing joy alone or with a group, everything you need to understand this study is in the book, except the Bible. You'll need a Bible and a pen or pencil. I created this podcast to give you an overview and to answer questions that you may have, or simply to share information that will enhance your study of Habakkuk. I'll continue to add episodes, so reach out to me on my website, jeanwyland.com, if you have any questions you'd like me to answer on this podcast. And one thing you'll figure out as you go through the study is that the first week and the last week, the 8th week, are different. And I did this for a reason. The first week is for introduction. The last week is for lingering. And let me explain that in a minute. Now, the study is essentially divided into 3 parts. The first part, the first week, being the introduction. The second week through the 7th week, weeks 2 through 7, they are for deep diving into Habakkuk. And as I said, the 8th week is for lingering. First, we'll start out in the first week talking about who Habakkuk is and how to use the transformational Bible study method. This is a method that I developed to study the Bible that is truly transforming in a way that no other method ever has. So we go through that. I teach it to you in that first week. Plus, we talk about how God's people descended into such evil that Habakkuk complains to God to please do something. And God responds. Oh, how he responds. In weeks 2 through 7, we're going to dive into Habakkuk's complaint, God's response, and how the truths we learned will transform our hearts like they did Habakkuk, from panic to praise, and from confusion to confidence, if we believe and act on the truths. Now, we finished studying the book of Habakkuk at the end of week 7, and we spend week 8 lingering in the truths. I didn't want us to just finish Habakkuk, finish the last verse, close the book, and then rush off onto the next thing. I wanted us to linger in these wonderful truths, to marinate in them, and to see them lived out in more modern-day saints, such as John Newton, Jim and Elizabeth Elliot, Oswald Chambers, A.W. Tozer, and a little-known missionary couple from Sweden. These saints believed and acted on the same powerful truths we learned through Habakkuk. Like him, they too came to know, trust, obey, experience, and love God, the God of their salvation, which empowered them to live out a level of faith that is sadly too rare among God's people today. This kind of faith should be the norm because it's available to all who trust in Christ, including us. And so through each lesson of the study, I've designed it to draw out these truths and lead us to respond to them with growing faith. I begin each lesson with a story that introduces the day's lesson, followed by a section called Intent, where I give helpful information about the passages that we study. Next, in the Truth section, where we study the day's passage in Habakkuk, and we dive into the truths God reveals about himself and others through these verses. We end the lessons with a transformational truth statement, the transformation question, and the memory verse. The transformational truth statement is a memorable statement that sums up the lessons. The transformation question calls us to respond to the truths we've learned. And the memory verse is exactly what it sounds like. It's the verse we're memorizing that week. So each week we're going to memorize a different verse. And each lesson we're going to review the week's verse. Please don't skip this part. I have a worksheet on my website that will help you keep track of the verses and help you memorize them. So go to the Embracing Joy tab on my website, jeanwyland.com, for this sheet and other helpful resources to study. And thank you again for joining me in Embracing Joy. I am praying for you that by the end of the study, you are going to be able to say that you will never be the same, that the truths that transformed Habakkuk have transformed you and filled you with abiding joy. If you haven't started studying Embracing Joy yet, get it today. The link is on my website and in the show notes. So hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. I'm Jean Wyland, but it's all about Him.